At 2:47 p.m. on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, Officer Nathan Cole pulled into the parking lot of a modest apartment complex on Willow Creek Drive. The call from dispatch was routine, a welfare check. The tenant hadn't been seen for several days. No reports of violence, no disturbance calls, just absence. The caller was the property manager. Rent had been paid on time. Utilities were still active. But neighbors hadn't seen Emily Harper, age 29, in nearly a week. Her mailbox was full. Her phone rang unanswered. She hadn't shown up to work. Officer Cole had handled dozens of welfare checks like this. Most ended without incident. A tenant out of town, someone avoiding people, occasionally a medical emergency, rarely something more serious. Apartment 3B sat at the far end of the third-floor hallway. The lights were on inside. The door was locked. Officer Cole knocked and announced himself. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. Nothing. There were no sounds from inside, no television, no music, no movement. The hallway itself felt unusually quiet, the kind of silence that lingers longer than expected. He checked the door frame. No damage, no signs of forced entry. Everything looked normal. Too normal. While waiting for the property manager to retrieve the master key, Officer Cole walked around the building. On the side facing the parking lot, he noticed a third-floor window slightly open. The blinds behind it were uneven, crooked in a way that suggested haste rather than care. That window belonged to apartment 3B. He stepped back and looked up. Inside, he could see part of the living room. The couch was in place. The coffee table was clear. A lamp stood near the window. Nothing overturned. No signs of a struggle. But the room looked frozen, as if someone had stepped away in the middle of an ordinary moment. Minutes later, Officer Lisa Moreno arrived as backup. The property manager returned with the key. Together, they climbed the stairs and stood in front of apartment 3B. At 3:02 p.m., Officer Cole unlocked the door. The air inside was stale, not foul, just unmoving. The lights were on. Emily Harper was not there. Her shoes were neatly placed by the door. Her purse sat on the kitchen counter. Her keys rested in a small ceramic bowl near the sink. People don't usually leave without those things. The apartment was clean, unnaturally so. No dirty dishes, no laundry on the floor. The trash can was empty. The couch cushions were straight. The television was off. Officer Moreno moved toward the bedroom. Officer Cole scanned the living room. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken items, no blood. But the space didn't feel lived in the way it should have. In the bedroom, the bed was neatly made. Not hotel perfect, but deliberate. Clothes still hung in the closet. Shoes were lined up beneath them. A suitcase sat empty in the corner. Emily's phone charger was plugged into the wall, draped across the nightstand. Her phone was missing. Officer Cole stepped into the bathroom. The door had been closed. He pushed it open. The bathroom was spotless. Towels folded. Sink wiped down. The mirror clean. On the counter sat a small notebook. It wasn't a diary. It was a planner. Emily's name was written inside the cover. Most pages were filled with work schedules, reminders, and grocery lists. The last few entries were different, shorter, uneven, written with urgency. One line was underlined twice. If something happens, check the storage unit. Officer Cole paused, then handed the planner to Officer Moreno. They continued the search. In the kitchen, a folded receipt sat near the coffee maker. It was from a storage facility on the edge of town. A unit number had been handwritten at the bottom in pen. Emily Harper had never mentioned renting a storage unit. At 3:19 p.m., the welfare check officially changed status. Detectives were notified. The apartment was secured. Officers remained on scene. By 4:05 p.m., Detective Sarah Lynn arrived and began reviewing the items left behind. She focused on the planner. The final entry was dated 2 days before Emily was last seen. Someone keeps asking questions. I don't feel safe. Detective Lynn had worked missing persons cases long enough to recognize the pattern. When people sense danger, they don't always flee. Sometimes they prepare. They leave instructions, quiet ones. The storage facility was 5 miles away. At 4:42 p.m., officers unlocked Unit 217. Inside were cardboard boxes labeled by date, file folders stacked carefully, a laptop sealed in a plastic sleeve, and a locked duffel bag. Emily Harper had been documenting something. Bank statements, lease agreements, copies of emails, lists of names and addresses written neatly on legal pads. The laptop contained spreadsheets, scanned documents, and video files labeled with timestamps and building numbers. Emily worked as an accounting assistant for a small property management company. Over several months, she had noticed inconsistencies. Rent payments that didn't match lease agreements, apartments marked vacant that were clearly occupied, cash transactions that never appeared in official records. She had started keeping copies. Inside the duffel bag was a flash drive sealed in plastic. It contained hallway security footage from multiple apartment buildings, people entering and leaving units that on paper didn't exist. Emily hadn't just suspected something. She had been building a case. By evening, Emily Harper was officially listed as a missing person under suspicious circumstances. Her phone records showed it had been turned off 3 days earlier. Her bank activity stopped the same day. Her car remained parked in its assigned space at Willow Creek Drive. Someone had left it there intentionally. Over the next 2 days, investigators traced the documents back to a shell company connected to several properties across the city. Unregistered tenants, short-term housing, cash payments funneled through layered accounts designed to avoid detection. Emily had been quietly noticed. A break came from an unexpected source. A rideshare driver reported picking up a woman matching Emily's description the night she was last seen. The pickup location was Willow Creek Drive. The destination was a warehouse district near the river. The driver remembered her because she seemed nervous. She kept checking her phone, asked if anyone had followed them. Security footage from a nearby business confirmed it. Emily entered the warehouse shortly after 9:30 p.m. She never came out. Inside the warehouse, investigators found signs of temporary use. A folding table, a metal chair, zip ties in a trash bin. No blood, no body, no definitive crime scene. Just absence. The evidence Emily left behind dismantled a financial operation that had been hiding in plain sight. Arrests followed. Fraud charges were filed. Accounts were frozen. Lawyers appeared. Those involved stopped talking. Emily Harper remained missing. Months later, Detective Lynn would say the same thing in every interview. Emily knew something was wrong. She left us a map. The apartment on Willow Creek Drive was rented again the following year. The walls were repainted. New tenants moved in. The storage unit was cleared. Its contents logged into evidence. Officer Nathan Cole still remembers how the apartment felt when he first stepped inside. Not violent, not chaotic, just unfinished, like someone had expected to return. Sometimes missing persons cases don't begin with screams or broken doors. Sometimes they begin with a quiet apartment, a planner left on a counter, and a single sentence written for someone who might be paying attention. And this one did. And because of that welfare check, the evidence Emily Harper left behind was found. What happened to her after that remains unanswered.